This lesson is the Mexican War and slavery extension. The United States is growing, and it starts with Texas. Manifest destiny, very important concept. The textbook definition is that it's the obvious or undeniable fate of the United States to overspread the entire continent, from sea to shining sea, specifically from Atlantic to Pacific. This word manifest, when you see this is not part of the words we use in our vocabulary on a daily basis today. That word manifest means obvious. So it's our obvious destiny to reach the Pacific Ocean. Texas is annexed. Annexed means joined or attached. Texas wanted this. Texas essentially was a rebel breakaway province of Mexico. It had been settled by a lot of American settlers who had slaves. At first, the Mexican government said, "Come on in, American settlers." And then Mexico banned slavery. The Texans don't want to give up their slavery, and you have a conflict there. Texas wants to be part of America and wants to join America as a slave state. The Southerners support this. The Northerners oppose it. They don't want to lose the balance between free and slave states. And if you notice, this here is a little flyer, a little petition against the annexation of Texas, and it's from New York, a northern free state that doesn't want to be outvoted by the southern slave states. War with Mexico breaks out. Mexico breaks off diplomatic relations with the U.S. because of annexation. They look at it as aggressive. Mexico doesn't recognize Texas independence, and so now they're saying, hey, wait a second. You're taking our territory and helping yourself to it. They break off relations. There's also a dispute about the southern boundary of Texas. This here is the Rio Grande. That's what the United States says is the southern boundary. This here is the Nueces. This means this land right here would still be part of Mexico if it's the Nueces, which Mexico is claiming. All right, the U.S. claims it's the Rio Grande. There's that. We're going to skip ahead to Polk here. Polk is elected president. He's much like Andrew Jackson. He's for expansion. He's for being aggressive about it. He sends an ambassador to Mexico, says, offer to buy California and New Mexico. Mexican government refuses. War breaks out. The United States declares it May 13th, 1846. What happens is some settlers from America attack Sonoma, California, and win. They declare it the Republic of California, and they actually make themselves a little flag, which might be familiar to you if you're from California. It's this one right here, and that is basically the basis. It's behind me in my classroom, the basis of the modern California flag. The California Republic really is kind of made up. It's not really a republic, but they declare it, and the fighting continues. Fremont and Kearny, let me scroll up here. My mouse is starting to act up. Fremont and Kearny secure Mexico's northern territories. Zachary Taylor defeats Santa Anna at Buena Vista. Winfield Scott goes to Mexico City, the capital of Mexico, defeats the Mexican army. The war ends. Fremont, Kearny, Taylor, these are all states in San Francisco, or streets in San Francisco, illustrating that to the victor. Most definitely go the spoils. San Francisco being one of the biggest cities at the time, not as big as it would be in what we will take from Mexico. The gold rush will take place shortly thereafter, making this defeat even more bitter for Mexico. It's ended by the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. Mexico finally recognizes Texas independence. The Rio Grande is established as the southern border. Mexico gives New Mexico and California to the United States. The U.S. pays Mexico $15 million, which is a lot less than Ambassador Slidell was authorized to pay for it. And U.S. agrees to settle any claims that American citizens have against Mexico. Let me go back here. The treaty makes the country look like this. Now, this area is the Oregon Territory. We had worked out a treaty with England earlier to settle this, so we had access to the Pacific Ocean, but it still wasn't enough. We wanted this area down here. We already had Texas through annexation, although it becomes official, at least as far as Mexico recognizing it with the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. The name there, Hidalgo getting cut off by my map there. This last bit I will get to next, but all of this territory, all this white territory, it goes to the United States thanks to the Mexican War. This here is the Gadsden Purchase, which it comes 5 years later. Essentially, Mexico sells the U.S. about 30,000 square miles. It's most of southern Arizona and a little bit of southern New Mexico, and that is what makes our lower 48 essentially complete. All right, so the big question was, and I might scroll back to that map for a second there, this new territory, free or slave. The Missouri Compromise of 1820 doesn't apply because it's not part of the Louisiana Purchase. The slave states want the territories to become slave states. The northern states do not want that. And so a Pennsylvania congressman named David Wilmot drafts something called the Wilmot Proviso. It was meant to attach to a law providing funds for negotiating with Mexico that declares that no slavery shall exist in any territory acquired by the U.S. from Mexico. It never became law, but it was a flashpoint of controversy between the North and the South. And so that is the Mexican War and the extension of slavery.